Good morning and welcome to Unit 9, Cities. Okay, here on this page, on page 103, you have all your can-do objectives and you have your discussion questions right here. So what you need to do is just look at the picture on this page and observe it carefully so you can answer these discussion questions right here and make a description of the buildings that you can see in the photos. That's on page 103. On page 104, we've got a reading. Okay, you're also going to look at the picture right here. It says, they did it all themselves. Okay, I'm going to focus a little bit on this picture right here. And then, how would you feel in this street? Okay, you're going to choose one of these three. As a pedestrian, how would you feel as a driver? And how would you feel as a cyclist? Then read the article about Exhibition Road and answer the questions. You're going to read this article right here that I'm scrolling down. If there are any words you don't understand, you look for them on a dictionary. And then answer these questions right here. Also, about the article, use a dictionary to help you if necessary. You are also going to answer these questions right here. And on letter D, think of the city you live in or one that you know, and then you're going to answer these questions. Now, when you finish answering your questions, you can check right here on this box if they were correct. Letter B and letter C. Right there. You can pause the video and check that your answers have the same coincidence. Okay, then we move on to page 105. Vocabulary, verbs with re. Look at the excerpts from the article. How are the words in bold similar in meaning? The newly revamped Exhibition Road in the heart of London's Museum Quarter. The entire half-mile long stretch, 820 meters of road and pavement has been redeveloped. Okay, what's the similar meaning between those two words? Okay, well, both words refer to processes that make something that was old or had deteriorated good again. Revamp is to change or arrange something again in order to improve it. Redevelop is to change an area of a town by replacing old buildings, roads with new ones. Okay, that's the difference. Now look at the verbs with re in the box. Replace the words in italics in the sentences below with the correct verb in the correct form. Listen and check. Okay, you got these words right here that you're going to look for them in a dictionary. And then you're going to replace them in these sentences right here. And you will check that this is the correct replacement. Letter C, pronunciation. Listen to the pronunciation of E and re in the verbs in the table.
Track 4.11. 1. E. Redevelop. 2. I. Rejuvenate.
There's a difference between E and E. Okay, there are both different sounds. Now add the verbs into A and to B to the table in question 1. Which verbs has a different sound and can be added to the table? Listen and check.
Track 4.12. 1. E. Redevelop. Revamp. Recreate. Reinstate. 2. I. Rejuvenate. Restore. Regain. Regenerate. Different. E. Renovate.
Very good. Now check that those words with different sounds go in the correct column. Now, what buildings do you know of that have recently been renovated or restored? Are there parts of your city that need redeveloping or regenerating, in your opinion? Okay, you're going to answer those questions according to what you know about your city. Reading and speaking. What do you think is happening in each picture? Why do you think it was worth taking a photo of it? Okay, you answer those questions. And then you're going to answer, you go to page 128 or 133 or 134 or 136. Choose one of the four communication pages. Let's go to the first one. Okay, right here on this communication page, let's see, you're going to find out. Read the fact file and prepare to tell other students about the event. You're going to read any of them. Okay, let's go back. There are lots of them. You go and read them, check them out, and then explain the idea you read about to other students, which idea you think provides most benefit to the community, provides least benefit, and will work best in your own city. Well, in this case, I would suggest that you should read all four of them and then tell me which one do you think is the best, okay? Which one will provide most benefit, least benefit, and would work best in your city. You're going to choose from the ones, so you can tell me, well, in this case this is A, in this case it would be B, in this case I believe it's C. Okay, and then reflexive and reciprocal pronouns. Read the comments about the events and pictures A through D. Which could they refer to? It's a great place to just sit by yourself and read the paper. Okay, so let's check it out. So according to the events right here on the top from A, B, C, and D, which sentences match better? Which comment? Okay, so in this case where it says it's a great place to just sit by yourself and read the paper, a suggested answer would be letter C and letter D because they look very comfortable. Okay, so you're going to do the rest with all the pictures, okay? Now look at the words and phrases in bold in 4A. This is 4A. And answer the questions. Which pronoun or phrase ending in self or selves? Now, let me tell you something. Self is for one person and selves is for more than two people. Okay? So, these are the answers right here. Check them out. And now, after you check them out, shows that the object of the verb is the same as the subject is A6 themselves. Emphasizes one thing in contrast to something else, itself. Means alone or not with other people. There you go. Means independently without help. For themselves. Now, what is the difference between we support ourselves and we support each other? Well, we support ourselves, we don't need other people's help. When we support each other, it means I help them and they help me. That's the difference. Sometimes they get confused. Sometimes people use one or the other, but in the wrong context, okay? And then they talk to themselves and they talk to one another. They talk to themselves, they speak as if they were alone, not to another person. They talk to one another, they speak with another person or other people. Okay, so that's the difference. Now, you're going to go to page 154 and you're going to answer this exercise right here. Now, you can look at the explanation right here on the top. You can read it carefully so you can see the differences between themselves, herself, himself, yourself, myself. Okay? You read the differences and then you're going to match them. Match A and B in each pair with the best endings. Okay? Then choose the correct option, add the missing reflexive and reciprocal pronouns, and then you go back. Okay, so check that your answers are all correct right here. This is for A, this is for B, and this is for C. Okay, pause the video and check that your answers are correct. Now let's go back to page 106. Now just let me focus a little bit about this one. It says reflexive pronouns. We use reflexive pronouns when the object is the same as the subject. They blame themselves for the accident. I mean, they're the object, but they're at the same time the subject. She's always looking at herself in the mirror. What is she looking at? Herself. And by the way, the object that she's looking at is also the subject, right? So that's the difference. After verbs and prepositions, the director of the bank awarded himself a big bonus. Don't be angry with yourself. I said to myself that I would try again the next day. They all go after verbs and prepositions. After nouns and pronouns, to emphasize importance and to contrast with other people and things in general, like the prime minister himself has shares in the company. The boss herself, I'm emphasizing that I'm talking about the prime minister, and I'm emphasizing that I'm talking about the boss. After the verb phrase to emphasize independence or achievement, we designed a house ourselves. They cleaned up the city themselves. I'm emphasizing that they did this work independently. After the verb phrase to show similarity to another person or thing as well. For example, he went to have a shower. I needed one myself. As same as a person, I also needed one. We use by and a reflexive pronoun to mean without anybody else. Like my friends were busy, so I went into town by myself. By side himself. So I'm talking about someone that's going by themselves, nobody else is going. Some verbs have different meaning when the object is a reflexive pronoun. For example, he didn't behave himself. He didn't behave well. Just be yourself in the interview, like act naturally. You don't want to find yourself alone, like get into a situation. I helped myself to the sandwiches. Take without invitation. It's not like I helped myself doing something, it's just like I ate them with nobody inviting me to. I didn't feel myself, it's like I feel different from usual. You see these phrases, you don't take them literally, okay? Verbs which are usually done by an individual, for example, shave, wash, don't need a reflexive pronoun unless we want to make a point of the ability. I washed and dressed in 5 minutes. I don't have to say myself because by saying these verbs, I know it's about me. The twins are old enough to dress themselves. I'm talking about their ability to do it by themselves. Alone, independently. In English, we do not generally use the verbs concentrate, feel, hurry, lie, like lying down, relax, sit, like sitting down, with reflexive pronouns. Rebecca didn't feel comfortable living in such a huge city. Okay? I spent some time relaxing before the busy day ahead. Okay, not relaxing by myself or feel herself. Otherwise, I would have to use by. Okay? Reciprocal pronouns. Okay, on this one, we use each other and one another with plural subjects. We always speak to each other with the utmost respect. One another is more formal than each other. We chatted to each other. They greeted one another before addressing the room. Compare reflexive and reciprocal pronouns. Mr. and Mrs. Smith bought themselves a car. One car for them both. But when we say Mr. and Mrs. Smith bought each other a present, that means they bought two presents, one for each one. Okay? We smiled at each other and said hello. It's like one to another. We smiled to ourselves but gave no sign of any emotion. Okay? It's like we only knew. We use the possessives, each other's, and one another's sometimes. They were friends and regular visitors at each other's houses. I'm talking about the house they possess. The purpose of this session is to listen to one another's problems sympathetically. I mean, I'm talking about the problems that they possess or everybody possess. Cars that park themselves do save a lot of space. Yeah, right. Yeah, we can see that. Okay, so remember, check your answers and go back to page 106. Okay? And then we're going to go right here on listening. You are going to hear part of a podcast about how technology can improve life in cities. Look at the app and the photo. What do you think it is for? Okay, this is the app right here. Now let's listen.
Track 4.15. Cities around the world are growing more crowded by the day. All us city dwellers experience the frustration of ever-increasing traffic on our roads and wear and tear on our amenities. Keeping transport moving and public amenities functional is an ongoing problem the folks who run our cities have to deal with. With an estimated 5 billion inhabitants of the world's cities by 2030, the challenge has never been greater. So, today, many major cities around the world are looking to mobile technology for their solutions. And there are a handful of products out there already that are aimed at helping to optimize the way we live in cities. One example is an app called Click and Fix. It's in use in a number of cities, and what it does is to let you communicate with your city maintenance services. People use their mobiles to let the city know where there's a problem. Something's broken or out of service, and then the idea is it'll get fixed straight away, or at least they get updated on what's being done about it. Michelle Thornton in Boston, USA, shows us how it works.
Well, look, I'm just going along the street, and if I see something that needs fixing, I can report it. It could be anything like a pothole or graffiti on a wall, or if something's been vandalized, or even a place where you're repeatedly having to risk your neck to get across the road. Anything like that. So, right now, we're going past a park, and there's a railing that's been smashed in here. It's all bent. So, I'll go on the app, and then I just take a snap of it. And I'll choose the most appropriate issue category. So I'll choose park issue. The app knows where I am, of course. And then just send it off. And you can see it comes up here. It's saying it's received. Then I can look it up later and it will tell me if it's in process or hopefully fixed. I think it's a great idea. It means that I, as a citizen, can be more involved. So it's a kind of democracy in action, if you like. And it also saves the city money.
Now that you listen to the podcast, you can answer these questions right here. Then listen to 3 more people talking about other ideas for smart cities. 2 of them really exist and 1 is invented. Which do you think is the invented one and why? Okay? Well, check that your answers are like this. Okay? And then we listen to letter C.
Track 4.16. Frank. I've got an app here on my phone called Train Spotting. I use this all the time. In fact, I couldn't manage without it. I commute into town, and it actually shows me not just when the train's due, but exactly where it is. Which is great because sometimes the station announcements are basically all over the place. You can't really trust them. So, I can get the map here, blow it up a bit like that, and yeah, there's my train. It's just left the last station, and it's due in 2 minutes. Rita.
Okay, this isn't an app, but it's an information screen. And they've got these screens all around the city. They're all over the place. And it can tell you whether your health is okay, which is really useful, especially for elderly people. So you press this panel here, and it reads your blood pressure and your body mass index, blood sugar level, pulse, all those things. And it also tells you how stressed you are. It reads the whole thing just from contact with your finger. It's a touch screen. It's amazing. So let's give it a whirl. put my finger on it, press OK, print. Okay, it's printing it out now. There we go. Let's see if I'm okay or whether I'm about to keel over. No, it says everything's normal. That's a relief. But stress level high, it says. Oh well, what can you do?
Nick.
Yes, well, this isn't an app, but it's a cool idea. It's called Strawberry Tree, and these are artificial trees, and they're dotted around the city. They're basically solar-powered phone charging points. They're shaped like trees, so they blend in. And the canopy consists of solar panels, which feed into batteries for charging your mobile or your laptop. It's all free, of course. So you can go to the park, sit and chat to people, or you can drink coffee, and they charge up your phone for you. It suits me because I've got mine like a sieve. I'm always going out without charging my phone, so it's a real lifesaver for me.
Okay, now you can go to page 128 and check. When you finish checking, you're going to listen to each description again. Which idea or ideas do these numbers right here from 1 through 6? You can pause the video, go back, and listen again. And then talk about the ideas and which idea would you use yourself, would you be prepared for to pay for, and would other people you know use? Okay, just talk which idea. And then on these discussion questions, okay, I need you to write down the answers. Now, language and context, colloquial expressions. Complete expressions in bold below with the words in the box, then listen and check. Let's listen and find out.
Track 4.17. A.
A place where you're repeatedly having to risk your neck to get across the road.
B.
We're going past a park, and there's a railing that's been smashed in here.
C. So, I can get the map here, blow it up a bit like that. D.
They've got these screens all around the city. They're all over the place.
E.
So let's give it a whirl. Put my finger on it.
F.
Let's see if I'm okay or whether I'm about to keel over.
G.
These are artificial trees, and they're dotted around the city.
H.
They're shaped like trees, so they blend in.
I.
I'm always going out without charging my phone, so it's a real lifesaver for me.
Okay, guys, now check your answers. And read the learning tip. A typical feature of colloquial English is the use of phrasal verbs rather than more formal single word verbs. When you come across a phrasal verb, notice it has a single verb equivalent and learn them both together. Which phrasal verbs in 5G have the same meanings as collapse and enlarge? Okay, we just find out on the answers. Now, look at this list of ideas for making cities smarter or better to live in. Do any of them already exist in the city you live in, or one you know? If so, how useful are they? If not, would you use the app or facility if they were available? Okay, check them out and answer. And then this is an individual task. Make notes of some things you could say about how it would work. Now choose an idea from here, from 6A, or your own idea which does not exist where you live and yet prepare to sell your idea to the class. In this case, you're going to put these 3 bullet points and give like a small written presentation. Okay, you're going to focus on one point on 6B, any you choose or your own. Okay, and you're going to write the answers to these 3 bullets and you have to convince me that that's a great idea. Okay, well, that's today's class, guys. Hope you have a great day and see you soon.